Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch for the season finale of the Radical SR1 Cup. Now the championship battle is incredibly close with just a handful of points separating the leaders and any one of 4 drivers able to take the championship this weekend. Well, Dave, congratulations. Good qualifying for you there, starting from pole. And of course, championship leader coming into this weekend. Are you feeling confident?
That certainly helped. You don't really know till you get here how we're going to go. Practice this morning, I was sitting third and further behind than I'd really like to be, but on old tyres, so I wasn't really sure how the qualifying would work out. But yeah, I got some really nice clean laps. I know the guys aren't far behind me, but no, it's one extra point as well towards the championship, so every point helps. So yeah, so I'm quietly confident, but yeah, the race is another story, and the weather could play a game today as well. It looked like it might be wet, so we'll just wait and see.
Well, Rob, you're sitting second in the championship and you'll be starting this race from second on the grid. Is the car feeling good this weekend?
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I've got a new set of tyres on the rear and there's a bit of rubber on the track now, so it was the grip was fine. Yeah.
And of course, you've got your main rival starting next to you on pole position there. What's your strategy going into this race?
Well, you know what, I wanted to get on the front row of the grid. I'd have liked pole, obviously, but it wasn't to be. But when you're starting at the front, anything can happen in the race, so we'll see what happens.
Well, the cars are lining up on the grid ready for the first of today's 2 20-minute sprint races. And with our 2 championship rivals lining up on the front row of the grid next to one another, a good clean start is going to be absolutely vital. Let's go racing.
So as we say, both of the main championship rivals on the front row of the grid. The number 69 car is Dave Morgan. Alongside is 77 Rob Watkins. In row 2 of the grid is number 7 Kai Wheatley. And number 80, the white and Dayglow car in the hands of Peter Tyler. The red lights go out and it's a great start from pole position by Dave Morgan and a fabulous start from 4th on the grid for Peter Tyler here. He's going to hoist himself up into 2nd by the time they get to Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. And for the unfortunate Rob Watkins, he's dropped down into 3rd place. He's the man that has got a bit of an uphill battle if he wants to claim the championship here, and he's under pressure also from the number 7 car of Kai Wheatley, who's had a good start. The rest of the field just working their way safely through Druids for the first time as they then propel themselves downhill towards the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, with already our race leader Dave Morgan just starting to sprint away a little bit in the lead of the race. And here comes Rob Watkins for 2nd place up the inside of Peter Tyler, making 2nd his own. Looks as though he got the job done there. There goes number 21 Mark Tishaw further down through the order, and some great battles right the way towards the tail end as well in the early stages. But our race leader starting to press on round through Hawthorns for the first time. You can see just how busy the Grand Prix circuit is here at Brands Hatch. There goes number 99 Peter Brooks, involved in his own individual battle down towards the tail end of the field, as they then work their way out of Hawthorns and up towards Westfield Corner. Dave Morgan it is that is in the lead of the race. Rob Watkins there in 2nd position, and look at the fights going on right the way down through the order. Peter Tyler now in 3rd place, number 80 under enormous pressure from that car there, the silver and orange car, number 7 in the hands of Kai Wheatley. Kai, who's had sporadic outings this season. When he's come out and raced, he's been very, very quick indeed, and he's putting in a good performance here in the early stages at Brands Hatch. You can see the front 2 have spread themselves away a little bit. Dave Morgan, Rob Watkins, then this great battle for the final podium place in the early stages. Peter Tyler under pressure from Kai Wheatley, who can't quite close up enough as they head down the start-finish line and up towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's got plenty of time in which to settle in. He gets a quicker exit, I would suggest, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Has he got the inside line for Druids? No is the answer. Peter Tyler closes the door. The fight continues. Downhill towards Graham Hill Bend. And whilst these 2 are squabbling, they're not actually dropping that far away from the 2nd place car, number 77 of Rob Watkins. So the top 4 together. Great fight going on for 5th place as well. Rob Ellis under pressure up the inside. Dives Mark Richards, number 52. Richards goes through. Rob Ellis drops down to the bottom of the top 6 and is in danger of losing a further place if he's not careful. As all of the time, this fantastic battle for 3rd and 4th place continues to rage. Safely out of Hawthorns, down towards Westfield Corner they'll go, before they then head up towards Dingle Dell, and very shortly will reappear off the Grand Prix loop back onto the Indy circuit. All of the time whilst Dave Morgan leads, all of the time whilst there's great fights going on all the way down through the order here at Brands Hatch. There goes the 3rd and 4th place battle, still with Peter Tyler under intense pressure from number 7 Kai Wheatley. The silver and orange machine has not as yet been able to thread his way through it ahead. So on to the brakes, through Clearways Corner, up towards Clark Curve. Another lap about to be chalked into the book. And all of the time, whilst these two are squabbling, the front two are just getting away a shade more. There goes number 42, Paul Pierce, having a battle with Robert Baxter towards the tail end of the field. They're absolutely nose to tail and have been for several laps now as well. Whilst the race leader presses on towards Druids, the gap between first and second is certainly closing. Dave Morgan is starting to feel the pressure of Rob Watkins, because these two in third and fourth place, that being Peter Tyler and Kai Wheatley, have just dropped away a shade more. And here, further down through the order, again you can see Mark Tishaw, number 21. We picked up on him in the early stages of the race. He's at the tail end of an enormous trade of cars, which includes number 8 Lewis G by the look of things, the white and gold machine. And also Mark Tishaw is looking to try and put under pressure the car just ahead. Some great fights going on. Mark Tishaw up the inside of Andy Chittenden, gains the place. The number 48, Andy Chittenden, drops down through the order. As all of the time, the race leader is coming under ever more pressure. Rob Watkins, after the poor start, which dropped him from second on the grid down to third, it's taken him a few laps, but he's now right back up onto terms with his main championship rival here. And for Rob Watkins, he really needs to take the lead of the race. He needs to try and outscore Dave Morgan by a few points in both races. And Morgan runs very wide, a mistake all of his own making coming round through Dingle Dell, which means by the time they get towards Stirling's, through and into the lead has gone Rob Watkins. And Dave Morgan, the champion-elect, you could argue, has lost a couple of championship points there. 40 points for a race win, 35 if you're second, 30 if you're third, and so on. And now it is Rob Watkins who comes into this weekend lying, the best part of 20 points adrift in the championship. Well, he's given himself the opportunity to keep the championship fight still alive. Still got this fight going on for third and fourth place, but all of the time it looks as though now Peter Tyler at the wheel of the white and Dayglow car is pulling away from Kai Wheatley, who is slowly dropping into the clutches of cars further down through the order now. As here our race leader turns his way through the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. Since taking the lead of the race, Rob Watkins has certainly got his head down. You can see the gap that's opened up between himself and champion-elect Dave Morgan. And there is the 3-car fight now for third, fourth and fifth, because Mark Richards, number 52, has tagged himself onto the tail end of Kai Wheatley, who's still looking to try and attack the car ahead of Peter Tyler. Another fight down through the order includes Paul Pierce, still fighting away with Richard Baxter. I said they've been at it tooth and nail for several laps. Well, they're still not separated by huge chunks. In what is a pretty competitive field here at Brands Hatch to conclude the season. 2 races this weekend that will wrap up the 2015 Radical SR1 Championship. And this fight that's going on towards the tail end of the field between that car there, Richard Baxter, having his first ever motor race, and the car ahead in the hands of Paul Pierce. There's another fight as well. That's Lewis G, who's under pressure from the charging Mark Tishaw, who's looking to try and outbrake him, and he might even try and go around the outside at Paddock Hill Bend. Thought better of it, tucks back in, clips the apex, and will look for another opportunity to try and squeeze his way through and ahead. And all of the time whilst Lewis G is trying to overtake number 72 Rob Ellis. Great little fight. Some 5, 6, almost 7 cars in a line heading out of Paddock Hill Bend. So through the left-hander Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight once more. 99 Peter Brooks at the tail end of that little fight. Mark Tishaw has a look at the inside of Lewis G, squeezes his way through on the brakes as they head up towards Surtees, and having gained the place, he can now look to try and attack the next of the cars ahead, which is Rob Ellis, who already he's right up onto terms with as they get towards the bottom section of the circuit at Hawthorns. Number 99 Peter Brooks still involved in squabbles towards the tail end of that little trade of some 6 cars. Rob Ellis the man at the front, Peter Brooks the man at the tail end, and here comes Rob Ellis now, the white and orange car, under pressure from Mark Tishaw, who qualified down in 9th position and really has threaded his way well and truly up through the order. As they head round through Stirling's and onto the straight that brings them up towards Clearways, and where they rejoin the Indy circuit. Our race leader, though, is already up at Druids Corner. Here he comes, number 77. Rob Watkins through the right-hander at Druids as this fight still rages. It's Tony Barwell's number 15 car, which is the car that's under pressure from Peter Brooks, but try as he might, Peter Brooks cannot quite work a way through. So again through Paddock Hill Bend, they're not quite nose to tail. You can see 6 cars all bottled up behind each other. Each one needs to attack and defend at the same time, you could argue. But as yet, the order has not particularly shuffled. It's still Rob Ellis at the front of this train, but he is under pressure from Mark Tishaw this time as they come onto the Cooper Straight. And I think Mark Tishaw might have gained a place. He's almost got two wheels on the grass as they head up towards Stirling's. Rob Ellis is trying to squeeze him as much as he possibly can, but there's contact between the two of them. Mark Tishaw spins. I think Peter Brooks takes to the grass and, unfortunately, the gravel trap in avoidance. He will be able to rejoin, and poor old Mark Tishaw, who thought he'd got the job done, has now dropped down through the order as the race leading pair turn their way through the left-hander at Stirling's. Dave Morgan has closed in again towards the tail end of this race onto the coattails of Rob Watkins, but time is running out if he wants to take the lead of the race, because they're just about to head through Clark Curve and accelerate their way over the start-finish line, and it looks as though it is going to be number 77 Rob Watkins who takes the win in the first of the two Radical SR1 races here at Brands Hatch. Dave Morgan comes through in second place, and Peter Tyler will finish only the second time on the podium this season in third position. As for the fight elsewhere down through the order, this is for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th position following the shake-up. It looks as though it is going to be Rob Ellis, but there's still looking to be further shuffling in the order. Rob Ellis will come through and will finish in 5th position. What a great fight, though, they had towards the tail end of that pack.
Well, that's going to take it down to the wire, isn't it? The championship battle is still wide open.
Yes, it is, and I hope it does take it down to the wire. I think there's 15 or so points in it now, so everything to race for in the next race.
Absolutely, and are you feeling confident going into that one?
I must say I felt good in the car today, as the car was quite well balanced, and I managed to get past Dave, so there's a good chance I can win the next one, but you never know in radical racing, because something can always happen.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck, and we'll look forward to seeing how that goes for you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Well, Dave, a second place finish for you there, but the championship's still in your favour.
That's right, yeah. Like I said, I need a second and a third today, assuming Rob wins them both. So I'm hoping, obviously I'm going for first in the next one, but I've got a little bit of a cushion if I had doing any problems or anything. So really all to play for the second race. I've got a starting second in the next one, so a bit more of a challenge, but I've got the outside going into Paddock Hill, which might be an advantage. So we'll just wait and see. A few hours to wait, and we'll know where we are then.
Well, Peter, great to see you back on the podium.
Yeah, second time now. Really pleased with that. So long may it continue, although this is my last race last season in SR1 as the novice, so we move up to something else. So very pleased with this one.
Absolutely, a good way to end the season, but there's one more race left. What are the plans for that one?
To be as good as this one, hopefully to get one of my trademark starts and rock it up to the front and try and keep it there.
Excellent stuff. We'll look forward to that. Well done.
Thanks very much.
So the championship still up for grabs. Rob Watkins sits on pole, champion-elect, alongside him Dave Morgan, and by the look of things it's a slower start from Rob Watkins. Dave Morgan gets the jump, but also a very good start from third on the grid for number 7 Kai Wheatley, the silver and orange car. Had a thought about going up into second place, but thinks better of it. He's got a better exit though coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, and this could be the opportunity here for Kai Wheatley. Up towards Druids, he locks the brakes, he loses the tail end of it. Rob Watkins has to swerve in avoidance. Other cars further down through the order have to swerve in avoidance, and thankfully for Rob Watkins, he is still in the race, albeit he's lost a couple of places now. He's lost places to Peter Tyler, Lewis G and Rob Ellis, and is going to be down into something like 5th position, attacking Rob Ellis as they head down the Cooper Straight and up towards Surtees, so 1 place gained. But unfortunately for Kai Wheatley, he's tumbling right the way down through the order. And by the look of things, with retirement also for Mark Tishaw on the run up towards Druids Corner, that is surely going to bring about... another one we've lost as well is Peter Brooks, so that may well bring about a safety car period, because those cars are not in the safest of places. Race continues for the moment, and that really has handed a very sizable lead indeed to number 69 Dave Morgan, who's pressing on in the lead of the race. Peter Tyler's there in second place, Lewis G in third, the car with the gold light covers. And indeed the safety car is coming out as expected, with 3 cars off and none of them in overly safe places. The yellow flags are waved, the SC boards are held up aloft by our marshals here at Brands Hatch, which means that the safety car is being deployed. And well, for Rob Watkins, he can breathe a pretty significant sigh of relief, I would suggest there, almost collected by Kai Wheatley, who just lost the tail end under cold tyres, I would suggest. And thankfully for Rob Watkins, he was alert, he swerved in avoidance, he avoided the gravel, he avoided errant cars, and there he is, the car with its blue light covers, down in 4th position. So the safety car out on circuit, the marshals recovering the cars. There's Kai Wheatley's car being pushed back from the position at which it came to rest following its spin. And no damage to the car. I don't think anybody made contact with it, so probably just a case of the car wouldn't restart initially. So the safety car bringing the pack through, and it may well be that with the assistance of the marshals and a bump start, that Kai Wheatley may, as yet, still be able to continue around in this race. So the pack goes through. The race is about to get itself back underway. The safety car peels off, so Dave Morgan now accelerates towards the start-finish line. No overtaking until you reach the start-finish line. So Rob Watkins has to be careful here that he doesn't overtake Lewis G before the line. He wasn't alongside when they got to it, so he tucks behind, remains in 4th place as they turn their way through Paddock Hill Bend. And will now start to climb uphill towards Druids. Dave Morgan leads Peter Tyler's 3rd place. And is this a place gained for Rob Watkins? He brakes as late as he possibly can, but can't quite squeeze through and ahead of Lewis G. So the number 8 car in the hands of Lewis G still remains there in 3rd place, despite the very best efforts of Rob Watkins, who again this time is no doubt going to attack. He's gained a couple of places down the Cooper Straight. He jinks out from behind, has the inside line for Surtees. Through he goes. So Rob Watkins now up into 3rd position. He needs to finish ahead of Dave Morgan, and he needs to finish ideally 2 or 3 places ahead of the number 69 car of Dave Morgan if he wants to be champion and prevent this man here, number 69, David Morgan, from becoming the 2015 champion. Field working their way through and past Hawthorns, including number 52 there, Mark Richards, just going through. He's circulating down towards the bottom of the top 8 currently, as Dave Morgan presses on with a handy little advantage between himself and number 80, Peter Tyler, whose attention surely before too much longer is going to turn to his mirrors and the car behind him in the hands of Rob Watkins, who's closing through Stirlings. They'll go. Number 77, Rob Watkins, trying to keep his championship hopes alive here. As I say, 3rd place is no good for him. 2nd is no good for him, whilst Dave Morgan still leads the race. He dives to the inside on the approach up towards Clearways Corner. That's 2nd place gained for race 1 winner now, Rob Watkins. Again, following that poor start from him off the line, he's had a bit of work to do. He was almost involved in that incident with Kai Wheatley, and that's what's cost him a couple of laps really to get himself right up onto terms with the man who at the moment, if things remain as they are, is going to claim the championship. This man here, number 69, Dave Morgan, the Scotsman. So through Druids, Morgan leads, Rob Watkins in 2nd place. Thereafter, we've got the likes of Lewis G and Peter Tyler, who are squabbling away over the final podium positions at this stage. And by the look of things, the gap is certainly closing. Rob Watkins is throwing everything at this here to try and A, close the gap on race leader, B, try and overtake Dave Morgan, and even if he does, as long as Dave Morgan remains in 2nd place, that's still enough for him to become the champion here. So Rob Watkins, having won race 1, now has a quick look up the inside as they head up towards what was Westfield that time through. No opportunity at Westfield to gain a position, though through Dingledale and Sheen Curve. Still with Dave Morgan leading, but coming under intense pressure from Rob Watkins, who again thought about having a look at the inside as they turn their way through Stirling. Still has to settle for 2nd though. These two start to slow each other up. It might allow the car in 3rd place to begin to close, but they've got enough of a buffer at this stage so as to lock horns, do battle and try and work out who's going to win the championship this year. As they come over the start-finish line, this might be Rob Watkins, who's got the inside line this time. That gives him the opportunity to sneak up the inside on the run towards Paddock Hill Bend. Rob Watkins looking across at his main championship rival, but Dave Morgan breaks that little bit later, almost too late as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend. You can see the tail end of the car dancing around as Dave Morgan tried to get it back under his spell, and that cost him a split second. Rob Watkins up the inside takes the lead of the race, and the champion-elect now down into 2nd position, which is still enough at this stage. If Dave Morgan remains in 2nd place, it will still give him the championship, but as he said after race 1, he wants to try and claim a victory here, and he's fighting back. He's going back into the lead again. Great racing from these two drivers, who have been very evenly matched throughout the course of this season. They've both had the same number of wins, and they are trying to work out as to who is going to finish on top in the championship as well in this race. Morgan leads. Number 77, Rob Watkins, is there in 2nd position, and as they now head towards the braking area for Westfield once more, Peter Tyler, by the look of things, is there in 3rd place. Lewis G is in 4th, and again Rob Watkins looking to try and attack. This time he's got the run coming through Dingledale and up towards Sheen Curve, so back into the lead. Tried to go Rob Watkins, but Dave Morgan had got the move covered. He hangs on, albeit by his fingertips, to the lead in the race, and you can see the tail end of both cars absolutely on the edge of adhesion here. So up towards Clearwell as they go. They're still side by side. Dave Morgan protecting the inside line. Is Rob Watkins going to try and cut back on the exit of the corner? He's now got the inside line as they come onto the Brabham straight over the start-finish line. They are not quite nose to tail. Dave Morgan was later on the brakes last time coming up towards Paddock Hill Bend. This time he leaves the door open and Rob Watkins goes back through. So still nothing to choose between either of them, but it's Watkins this time that takes the lead of the race. And will Dave Morgan, perhaps with one eye on those championship standings and knowing that second is good enough, opts this time to settle down into second place. By the look of things though, still not content with second. He said he wanted the win. It certainly looks as though he may well be going for it again. He jinxed one way, jinxed the others, trying to get Rob Watkins to look in his mirrors, perhaps then make a mistake. No such problems though for Rob Watkins, neat and tidily onto the Grand Prix section of the circuit, and as they now come down Hawthorne Hill towards Hawthorns, it is Dave Morgan who tries again to take the lead of the race, but Rob Watkins fairly chops across the nose of him, takes the line for the corner. You can see how much these two are slowing each other down now, because Peter Tyler in third position is really closing in to the coattails of the leading pair. He was well and truly out of camera shot a few laps ago. Well, now you can see that he's beginning to bear down a shade on the pair that are trying to sort out who's going to be the champion for this year. And not only is Peter Tyler closing, the car thereafter, which is Lewis G, is beginning to close in as well. So 3 almost now for the lead, not quite, because Peter Tyler still needs to close up another car length or so, but the leading pair are still doing battle. It is still Rob Watkins that leads. Number 69, Dave Morgan, is there in second position. Peter Tyler, the Dayglow car, they're in third place as they head over the start-finish line. Another lap chalked into the book, up towards the braking area for Paddock Hill Bend. Go the leading trio. Lewis G just that little bit further adrift in fourth position. And then a big gap back to fifth place. It looks like it's Rob Ellis that still maintains fifth position. The lead trio are now together. Peter Tyler has caught up with Dave Morgan. Dave Morgan, before too much longer, is going to have to attack and defend at the same time. He opts for the former rather than the latter. Dives up the inside of Rob Watkins with a great move heading in towards what was Graham Hill Bend. And now Rob Watkins is looking to try and repeat exactly what's happened to him as they head round through Surtees Corner. They're still side by side. And it is going to be side by side as they come onto Pilgrim's Drop and Hawthorne Hill this time. But Dave Morgan has the inside line for Hawthorns. He goes back through and takes the lead of the race. And I think that Rob Watkins is going to have little choice but to settle back down into second place. They've got slower cars ahead as well, traffic that needs dealing with. Rob Watkins, by the look of things, may well have just hung on to the lead of the race. Indeed he did. So Rob Watkins hanging on to the lead of the race. The move didn't work for Dave Morgan. Peter Tyler right there as well. Then the car with the gold light covers, which is Lewis G, as they safely negotiate the slower traffic, which moves very gracefully out of the way and allows this fabulous battle for the lead of the race and possibly to decide the championship to continue. So Rob Watkins again is going to head over the start-finish line, leading this lap of the race. Dave Morgan and Peter Tyler still absolutely with him though. The front 3 cars pretty equidistantly spaced at this stage. Dave Morgan perhaps a little bit braver on the brakes heading in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Takes a wider line in to try and maybe straighten the car up on the exit a bit quicker. But again, it didn't quite work, so it's still Watkins, Morgan. This time Dave Watkins tries around the outside at Druids. A very brave move. Might get pushed wide on the exit of the corner. Indeed, he's got 2 wheels on the grass as Peter Tyler tries to attack as well. But it is still Watkins, Morgan, then Peter Tyler, then Lewis G, number 8, starting to get ever racier in 4th position. So the leading 4 are absolutely together now as well. And don't rule out the car that's just behind them in 5th place as well, because that is also now really beginning to close in. So a fabulous battle to conclude the season, as again they head down towards Hawthorns, throw the car in towards the right-hander. Very quick corner Hawthorns, you carry the momentum down the hill. It's almost got a banking to it as well, a very slight bank which hugs the car into the apex as well. And you can see that the leading 3 are still together. Lewis G has disappeared somewhere by the look of things. He has gone now behind, I think, number 52, Mark Richards, who's gained the place. Leading 3 together though. So here they come. Number 77, Rob Ellis, still under this intense pressure for the lead of the race from the champion-elect. Peter Tyler there in 3rd place. All of the time he's now being caught by Mark Richards, number 52, who's getting very racy. You've seen Mark on the podium 3 times so far this year. Peter Tyler had a podium in race number 1, but is now under enormous pressure if he wants to hang on to the podium place in race number 2. So the lead 4 over the start-finish line. And as they go through up towards the braking area for Paddock Hill Bend, It is still Rob Watkins, Dave Morgan, Peter Tyler and Mark Richards. Peter Tyler this time in third place is the man who's looking to attack. Right on the coattails of Dave Morgan. Mark Richards taking a subtly different line, 5 for the lead, because Lewis G has found himself involved in the squabble once more. As Mark Richards goes for the inside of Peter Tyler, that gives him third position. Peter Tyler drops down into fourth place. So great move by Mark Richards. Now on for what for him would be his fourth podium of the year, and he's not content with third there, having a quick look at the inside of Dave Morgan, the current championship leader and champion-elect, as they went towards Surtees. So this fabulous battle heads down through Hawthorne's corner. There at the tail end of that squabble is the number 8 car of Lewis G. And at the front of the squabble is Rob Watkins, still looking to try and hang on to championship hopes here. If he wins the race, Dave Morgan needs to be 5th or lower, i.e. where that car is, Lewis G, if Rob Watkins wants to be the champion. And at the moment, with Dave Morgan sitting fairly and squarely in his mirrors, Rob Watkins will know that no matter what he does, it's almost now starting to come out of his control, because he needs Dave Morgan to lose a few places. On towards Clark Curve, another lap about to be concluded. Running out of time now is Rob Watkins. He's done everything he could possibly do so far this weekend. He needed to ideally win both races and hope that that man there, who still hasn't given up aspirations of taking the victory here, Dave Morgan, had another little nibble. He's now alongside Rob Watkins, side by side as they head into the braking area for Druids Corner. Locked brakes from Rob Watkins as again Dave Morgan tries round the outside. He then needs to close the door to prevent Peter Tyler's Dayglow car from squeezing its way through, because Peter Tyler has got himself back ahead of number 52 Mark Richards once more, who's dropped down into fourth place. There goes number 52 Mark Richards. And still, with the best seat in the house at the tail end of that little squabble, is Lewis G. Mark Richards has another nibble at Peter Tyler heading round through Surtees. The door is closed though. Peter Tyler hugely keen to claim 2 podiums here, and hugely keen to claim the win is Dave Morgan, who goes, by the look of things, for another attempt at Hawthorne's to try and get himself back into the lead of the race. It didn't work last time through. This time, by the look of things, as they turn their way through Westfield, it hasn't worked again. Dave Morgan down to second, now down to third. He might even be down to fourth, because Mark Richards is looking for the inside line as they head through Sheen Curve. It is Rob Watkins that leads. It's Peter Tyler who's there in second place. Mark Richards is in third. Dave Morgan is down into fourth position, which mathematically would still give him the championship by 1 single point. He can't afford to lose a further place to Lewis G, or he loses the championship, and Rob Watkins, number 77, the current race leader, would be the champion. That's how tight it is in the final race of the season for the Radical SR1s. And as they come over the start-finish line to start yet another lap, it is still Rob Watkins that leads the race. But he's got Peter Tyler right behind him, then the number 52 car of Mark Richards not that far away, and then Dave Morgan all of the time trying to recover. They work their way past Richard Baxter, new to the championship this year. He's looking to do a full season in the Radical SR1s next year. And as they head downhill now in towards the braking area for Graham Hill Bend, Peter Tyler, by the look of things, there may be a little bit of contact there between the tail end of Peter Tyler's car, the front end of Mark Richards. Peter Tyler will recover, but he's dropped down into 5th position now, possibly even 6th as well, as other cars will feed their way through. I think Andy Chittenden probably got past him before Peter Tyler recovered back onto the circuit, and that has enormously helped. Also, let's not forget number 69 Dave Morgan, because he needs to finish in 4th place. Well, he is in 4th position, and he's now got a big old gap between himself and the car that remains in 5th place. So mathematically, Dave Morgan, if things remain the way they are, heading for the championship still, despite this man here, number 77, Rob Watkins, looking as though he's heading for victory number 2 of the weekend. Battle for third is not sorted as yet still. Lewis G looking to try and hang on to the podium place. We've not seen Lewis on the podium at all so far this season. He's finished 4th on several occasions, but has not been on the podium. He'd dearly like to grab one at the end of the season. He might have to stick his elbows out though if he wants to grab the final podium place, but it is going to be Rob Watkins that is going to come through and claim a double victory here. Second is where we see Mark Richards, and side by side over the start finish line for 3rd and 4th is Dave Morgan and Lewis G, but 3rd place for Dave Morgan is enough for him to be crowned the 2015 Radical SR1 champion. What a result for him. And Rob Watkins, well, he did everything he could. He won both races, but number 69 Dave Morgan is your champion.
Well, Well, Robert, congratulations on the win and commiserations on the championship. You really did everything you could there.
Yeah, even I can put my hand on my heart and say, I did everything I could. I won the race, controlled the race a little bit as well, because my strategy was basically to get in the front and try and slow everyone down and get Dave sort of in the pack of cars and try and get him knocked down. But kind of worked, but kind of didn't, because obviously Dave took the title very worthily indeed, I think, as well.
Yes, he certainly did, but you certainly can't be disappointed with your performance. Well done, that was really great.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, Mark, congratulations. Second place is a nice way to end the season, but that was certainly a fraught race, wasn't it?
It was. I definitely benefited from Rob's tactics of trying to slow the race down a little bit so that Dave would get stuck in the mix, and that's exactly what happened. And I managed to catch up with a couple of them. Pete Tyler, who isn't up here now, but deserves an honourable mention. I was having a great race with him, and we were battling while these guys were battling in the front, and a wonderful way to win the season, I have to say, and a wonderful season.
Absolutely. And looking ahead to next season, what are your plans?
Definitely some form of racing in Radical. Question whether we do this new sort of Challenge Cup, but these two gents are great guys to race with, so I'm likely to follow them wherever they go is where I want to be. So.
Well, that's praise indeed, and well done on a well-earned second place.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Dave, congratulations. You are the SR1 Cup champion. That was a nice, easy walk in the park, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't really see anyone else the whole race. It was pretty straightforward. No, Rob, brilliant strategy from Rob. I didn't actually click when I was out there. That's what he was trying to do, but that's exactly what he did. He backed me up into the pack, and the problem I had was I couldn't not overtake him, because then the rest of the guys were going to get past all of us, and I was forced into trying to have a go with him in silly parts of the track. Luckily, lived to tell the tale, but it was a bit hairy at times for sure. But brilliant racing. I mean, we had so many close moments, and full credit to Rob. Really fair, close racing. We both kept it on the black stuff, which is great. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a novice championship, I mean, just incredibly close racing and a great spectacle to end the season on.
Yeah, no, I hope everyone enjoyed it. It was certainly entertaining in the car. Hairy, but I guess when you're out there, you don't really feel it quite the same way. It's not until you watch the video back afterwards you realise how close some moments were. But you're trying to get on the camera. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I say, novice championship, but there's some great talent out there. Some great racing, and fantastic season. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to get into racing. It's brilliant fun.
Well, what an incredible race that was. Happy faces all round, and deservedly so. But that concludes the action for us here at Brands Hatch today, and concludes the season for the Radical SR1 Cup Championship. We're off for a well-earned winter break, but make sure you join us for more in 2016.